Good morning, one and all. It is Saturday, January 18th. And we'll talk about the games from yesterday. A lot of lopsided games yesterday. Before I get into the games, real quick, I want to mention reminder this afternoon, I will be doing a Facebook Live video from Binghamton. I will be interviewing Bob Howard, who and I don't want to say this making him sound old because I'm older than he is. He is a pioneer in podcasting with the area of minor league hockey. He was doing this type of thing long before anybody else was. Been podcasting since 2004, and before the term was even really around. So I'm going to be talking with him, interviewing him, giving you an opportunity to get to know him. So make sure to watch out for that. Around 4 o'clock, some give or take a few minutes. But yeah, Facebook Live, and we'll have a nice interview live from the confines of the Visions Veterans Memorial Arena while a charity game was going on. So tune in for that. Love to have you all meet Bob and get to know Bob, and then give you a little exposure to his show and the services that he provides on the internet for Binghamton hockey. But not just Binghamton hockey. He talks to many other people too. So find out who. Tune in this afternoon. All right, for yesterday's game, like I said, a lot of lopsided contests. Mississippi, they come in to McMorran Place, they score the first goal, and then it's all Port Huron after that, especially in the third period. Port Huron just got really hot in the third. Kind of wore Mississippi down. Of course, it is a very long, tiresome trip from Biloxi, Mississippi, all the way up to Port Huron. That takes a toll on a team. And I don't care if you're Mississippi or another team. That much travel, it's hard to get a lot of energy and sustain it for 60 minutes. So yeah, it is Stefan Zizi getting the game-winning goal, putting a puck past Ed Coffey from the Seawolves, and that is at 18:40 of the second period. I lost my notes for this page, so I'm just glancing over here. Mississippi 5-22-3. They're getting pretty close to essentially mathematically being out of it, which is a shame. You reach a halfway point and you're pretty much not. You don't have much of a shot at the playoffs. Port Huron though continues to improve, 15-12-3. They are solidly in third place now, and not just solidly in third, but they're just a couple points behind Watertown now. So there you go. It is Valtteri Nusiainen getting the win, stopping 24 of 25. Nice little fight between Casey Harris, who played for the Port Huron Beacons of the old UHL. He was a celebrity player, and he and Philip Long, who have been around, they both been around a long time. They get in a little scrap. That was interesting tilt. So there you go. So there's that. The other Michigan team did not fare very well. Danbury gets off to a 5-0 start in this game. Babin, I don't care if you're Trevor Babin or Joe Schmo. You get put in goal and you face 17 shots in the first period. That is tough to stop everything. So, game-winning goal comes in the first period by William Berry, just 12-13 in. And you have to support your goaltender, not just with scoring, but limiting shots. You got to play as a team unit. Motor City just is not doing that right now. They had a period where defense was tightening up a little bit, but just far too much reliance on Babin and Gonzalez. I honestly feel bad for them because they're eating so much rubber, and those are two players that should be getting paid more than than they are, definitely. But anyway, yeah, good crowd on hand for Danbury Ice Arena. 17 shots surrendered by the Rockers in both the first and the third period. Again, you're not going to get very far with that. So yeah, 6-1 is the final. Danbury now is 12, 10, and 5, and Motor City 11, 15, and 2. And with the bigger board, you can see, yeah, more of the same. Besides this, this game was somewhat close, but not really. We'll get into that in a minute. All right, so Watertown travels down to Binghamton, top two teams in the Empire Division, at least for now, because again, Port Huron's only 2 points behind Watertown. It's 22-point difference now between Binghamton and Watertown. It is Binghamton's division to lose. If they take care of business, they'll be fine. They get a little sloppy, well, then things could get some kind of interesting. But anyway, in this game, Watertown is the team that scores first. Watertown had good energy in this game. It wasn't that they were that they didn't play well. It's just they were outmatched in this particular game. Trevor Newman scores first at just 138 in. So that quieted the crowd temporarily, got everybody's attention, and Binghamton responded. 8-10, it's Don Oliveri scoring the first of 2 power play goals. Austin Thompson scores one of those critical goals, 1943 of the first period, puts Binghamton up, and they would never look back. In the second period, 10:01, it's Oliveri scoring on the power play again. 15:41, it's CJ Stubbs, and you know, just from Watertown's perspective, this was probably the worst goal of the night. It was just a clean 2-on-1 break. Stubbs scoring with ease with a past Elwa Bouchard, who had no chance at stopping this. Little defensive breakdown, but I mean, for the most part, again, Watertown played fine. Stephen Klink did respond 2 minutes later on the power play. So there you go. Yeah, so it's 5-2 at this point. We get into, well, no, I'm sorry. I almost missed it in my notes. What a response by the Black Bears. Klink scores. 8 seconds later, very fluky goal. Basically, Zach Serrata, he kind of tries to chip things in on a dump in, and somehow the puck bounces off the board, off the glass, off the back of the leg of Bouchard and in. So there you go. It's a very freaky thing. David Gaeta did score 8:57 of the third period. Just can't kind of willed the puck in. Everybody in the arena, except for the Wolves, thought that the puck was frozen on the side of Connor McAnanima. Gaeta saw the little black blurb and kept hacking away and was able to stuff it home through a lot of persistence. So that made it 5-3 at that point. Kyle Steffen, the final goal of the night. Just a power move in on Bouchard, 14:50, and you got a 6-3 final. Good crowd, 45,97 on hand. So Watertown now 16, 10, and 1, while Binghamton is now 24, 4, and 1. Again, the division is starting to feel somewhat anticlimactic. The question is the seeding 2-4 or 2-5. All right, this game score closest one of the night, 4-2, but the Bobcats were up 4-1 at one point. They played a very solid game. This is what you do if you want to have success on the road. You go into the opponent's barn. You don't do anything fancy. You just stick to a very basic game plan. You do what you know works, and you have one player, in this case Hunter Verostic, step up and help carry the team. And there you go. It's a 4-2 win. So in this game, it's Vlasov, the V's. He scores at 5:56 in the first period. The game gets a little close as Jan Slack ties things up, 8-14. And that was going to be it for the first period. Shots in the first period, 10-8 in favor of Columbus. Second period, again, nothing fancy. This game was, you have to understand the way I'm saying this, it was almost boring. Um, no, it wasn't boring. I enjoyed watching the game. But again, it was just sticking to the basics. No, nothing fancy, nothing glitzy. And before you know it, Carson Andreoli scores at 7:09. The Bobcats take the lead. Later on, it's McHugh and Nick McHugh stuffing in a puck on a scramble. Again, another puck where it was kind of wheeled in across the line. And yep, the referee's there signaling good goal. That's 11:57. At the end of the period, there's a shot from the point by Carolina. The puck crosses the line, but the goal horn, or the horn for the end of the period had already sounded. So it was ruled no goal. Puck crossed the line after the period had expired. So it's still 3-1 at the end of two. Shots were kind of ridiculous. Carolina, 27 shots, but a lot of those shots were just perimeter shots. Vorostic did make about 3 or 4 really good saves, high quality saves, but the majority of the shots were very easy for him to see, very basic saves. So there's a lot of quantity, but not much quality. 27-14 in that second period for shots. And then the third, the Bobcats score again. This time it's Devin Sanders. That's the end of the night for Boris Babic, who started for the Carolina Thunderbirds. That comes at the 4:26 mark of the third period. Didn't really do a whole lot to the dynamic in the game. Mario Cavallari comes in, saves everything he sees, but it's only 7 shots. Roman Kramer scores on the power play at 12:45 to make things a little bit interesting. Right at the end of the game, the Bobcats get into some penalty trouble. They're down 5-on-3. Carolina pulls the goalie, make it 6-on-3, but 6-on-3 and then 6-on-4. Couldn't get the puck home. Vorostic stands tall in net, saving 44 of 46. And the Bobcats improved to 15-9-3 with this. Carolina still in first place, but they've got 2 teams 1 point behind them now. 17-6-3. The Continental Division is really interesting right now. Unlike the Empire, where Binghamton's running away with things, you got 6 teams within 7 points of each other. That's insane. All right, so Sanders, a goal and 2 assists, as well as McHugh, and Andreoli also had a goal and assist. Slack and Kramer, the goal scorers for the Thunderbirds. All right, this game was close until what was it? 9:29 of the second period, and then things just fell apart. And the Dashers are now 1 game away from tying the Battle Creek Rumblebees for that losing streak, 24 games. It seems to be more often than not with the Dashers, they get this one little span of time, very small time window in which they just kind of implode defensively. The other team takes advantage, and then next thing you know, the game is out of reach. So yeah, it's an 8-2 win by the Baton Rouge Zydeco. In the first period, Kevin Zabad scores first, 4:12, answered by Nikolai Salov. He scores on the power play. No, it's a shorthanded goal. There were 2 shorthanded goals in this game. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, Salov scores shorthanded. Then by the end of the first period, it's 16-17. Chris Ciolik scoring for the Zydeco. It's 2-1, not bad. Shots are not good though. 19-9 favor the Zydeco. So Oscar Walgren is getting peppered once again. Now, part of the problem is Danbury's been the Dashers have been playing with 4 defensemen. Again, not a recipe for success. Stephen Nassau needs to understand you've got to have 6 defensemen out there, um, especially when your weakness is defense. All right. Second period is Quinn O'Reilly, who gets a call up from the Kalkaska Battlers. He had a very good game, not just with scoring a goal, but he was in it in a lot of the action, very active. He really had a good performance. He was the bright spot for the Dashers last night. So he ties things up at 3:55. 9:29, Aaron Shaheen puts the game out of reach. In essence, it's not out of reach yet, but the Zydeco score on the power play. Shaheen with that game-winning goal. And then in the span of 3:59, 3 Zydeco scored, and next thing you know, it's a whitewash. It's Jake Cox. He decides, I want to have a nice game. So Cox scores shorthanded, 13:28. 15:44, power play goal by Shane Haggerty. 17:27, it's Cox again on 5-on-5. So there you go. 3:59 expired, and bam! All of a sudden, it's 6-2. 3-2 is a lot different than 6-2. In the third period, Narik Alexandrian, he adds a goal at 9:11, and then at 10:55, Cox gets the Hattie, and there you go. It is 8-2. Shots. Every period had an advantage for the Zydeco, but at least the second and third period are close in shots. Zydeco in the second 15-13, and then the third 14-11. But yeah, Oscar Walgren, he takes the loss in that again. And again, it was really that 4-minute window that just kind of everything unraveled. So the Zydeco are now 18-7-4. They vault themselves into second place, just 1 point behind Carolina. So tonight's games are going to be quite interesting and are going to there could be a lot of shaking up going on in the Continental Division tonight. Dashers 122-3, again 23 losses in a row, crowd of 646 on hand. Bailey Stevens, who I failed to mention, gets the win. He saves 31 of 33. And the Zydeco roll on, and no need to go rogue. Final game of the night, ugly. In a word, not the score. Well, the score is a little ugly too, but if you're a Moccasins fan, but the game itself was ugly. And this was a game where Corey Fossa and Jesse Burns, the officials, they unfortunately set a tone in the first period by not calling some stuff that they did, and then the game got out of hand. Tons of minors in this game, 28 minors handed out. The Athens Rock Lobsters went 3 for 17 on the power play. Moccasins went 0 for 11. A lot of those 2-minute penalties later on should have been 5s. Maybe a couple should have been 10s. I feel one should have been a game misconduct. But there you go. You let things devolve. You get to the point where Gary Gill and Steve Martinson are, with the glass between them, face to face, yelling at each other. Not good. So tonight's game could be a rough and tumble affair. All right, so in this game, Orca Weisblatt, he's back from IR. He scores 34 seconds in. Bam. Thank you very much. I'm back. Second goal, though, comes from the Moccasins. They do respond. It is Kyle Heitzner wheeling himself around, taking a shot from the high slot. It's tipped in by Scotty Koash. Tied up at 1 at 2:52. Things calm down for a little bit. We have a lot of those non-calls going on, so things are starting to get frustrating and ugly for both teams. Garrett Milan scores at 19:30. First minute, last minute. And there you go. Milan scores to give the Athens Rock Lobsters the 2-1 lead. They were outshot by Monroe 16-11 in that first period. Josh Rosenzweig got a workout. So did Ekholm Rosen. Not just with stopping pucks, but there was a lot of activity in front of both goaltenders' creases, a lot of pushing and shoving and jostling and contact, and again, stuff that initially went under the radar, and then boom, you have an explosion. Excuse me. In the second period, it is Glukarov scoring. It's 1951. So again, last minute. Things really explode at this point. Monroe gets totally frustrated, starts a scrap. Glukarov gets involved in the scrap at 20 minutes. At the end of the period, it's Declan Conway against Justin Portillo. Guess what? You get a matchup like that, and even if both teams just have 5 minutes each, you're fighting. Moccasins, you've lost because you've got a guy who's a regular scorer on your team playing against an enforcer. So, Athens can deal with the loss of Portillo for a few minutes easier than you can deal with the loss of Scotty Koash for a few minutes. Something very, that's one of those hockey IQ things. And no, I'm not accusing Scotty Koash of anything. I'm just saying that when you're getting frustrated and you're getting behind and your scorers start getting in scraps, not a good thing. All right, third period, Athens explodes for 4 goals. It's Case and Gallant scoring at 10:43 and 10:52. 10:52 goal was just a complete breakdown defensively for the Moccasins. Gallant takes advantage. Scotty Koash does score his second goal of the night at 14 minutes, but then Gallant, no, that's right. Gallant ended up not getting credit for the last goal. Let's see, it was Shinkarik getting credit. All right. No. Okay, I forgot to write down. It was getting very late, and the game was getting dragged on with all of these scraps. Game didn't end until a quarter after 11. It was ridiculous. Anyway, Shinkarik did get the last goal. I forget who got the goal for Gallant. I'd have to check the stats. Gallant took the shot, but it was tipped in. We thought Gallant had the hat trick. He had 2 goals. Still not bad. 2 goals and an assist, which did not get factored into the scoring. So anyway, Milan, a goal and 3 assists. Virgili, 2 assists. Shinkarik, a goal and assist. Weisblatt, a goal and assist. And there you go, 7-2. Athens now in a playoff spot, thanks to their win total, 17-3-2. Yeah, that's a record. Sort of in 5th place, but just 7 points behind Carolina. Moccasins fall to 6th. They fall from 4th to 6th, just on one game, 14-10-5. So again, tonight's game's going to be very important in the Continental Division. So there you go. Koash with the 2 goals. Ekholm Rosen stops 21 of 28. He was just hung to dry on a lot of this. All right, so there you go. That is the nice sellout crowd, by the way, in Carolina. I forgot to mention that. All right, that's it for today. I will talk to you this afternoon on Facebook and then tomorrow here on YouTube. Thank you for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe, and we'll catch you all again really soon. Have a good one.